interested in business and education. I went to school for early childhood education. I started out working in business, and then I joined marketing. And in the marketing arena, I learned a lot about personal development. It really changed my life. It really helped me to become an entrepreneur. It's like a serial entrepreneur, but I started a program maybe about right before COVID I started events surrounded by personal development. But I also was doing early child education from my home. And when COVID came, because I started out doing just young children, started out with 1 and 2 year olds, but then when COVID hit, those children had become school-age children, and they went to school, and I was doing before and after care. And then when COVID hit, they had to be forced to go in person, to go to home to learn, but their parents still had to go to work. So I took those children and I allowed them to come to my home to do virtual learning, but then some of the parents would say, can you just homeschool my children? And because I was homeschooled, I understood why they wanted their children homeschooled at that point and what I could give their children that the school system was not giving their children. So that's how I started my homeschool program. So at that point, I moved to homeschooling, and I do before and after care, but that was on the education side. But on the event side, I always have been passionate about people doing for self. And so I started an event called I Control My Life, and it was just teaching people how to to identify their life's purpose, to monetize their talents, gifts, and abilities, using my experience in personal development and teaching them how they just need to do for themselves and understand what is it your talent, skill, and ability is, and monetize that. And then when COVID hit, I realized we had a crisis with our health. And I was marketing wellness. And so I was like, my events need to be expanded to wellness. So I added that as a piece of my events. I started teaching on wellness and wellness development and bringing other people in that may have been more experienced in that arena so that we can heal our communities on the wellness side. And then as my children started getting older, going into teenage years and developing issues at home, I started realizing, wait a minute, the parents need to be home. We have a large problem in our society, so then at that point, I started going into more further personal development. So one of the events we're putting on now is just trying to get a communication dialogue between the parents, men from Mars, women from Venus type of conversation, understanding that our communication and us working together as a unit and as a family unit more effectively will really heal our community. So I just, as an entrepreneur, I try to solve the problems that we're having in our society through my talent, skills, and abilities, which for me is personal development, education, coaching and training, and business development.
All right.
We're going to make them brief answers, and then because we have a few questions for you. Okay, thank you. Yes.
So on my end, I love writing. I've been writing since I was young. And one day, Ramadan is always like a renaissance for all of us. But in terms of you're creative, it's really a renaissance. So in 2016, I wanted to count how many poems I had. And so when I counted them, I said, this is a book. It was no intention on becoming a book or being a book or if you're gonna publish this. But Allah put that on my heart to see how many you have over time. It's been collecting over years and years and years, and so many of us. We have notebooks. We have Google Drive notes that you started and didn't finish or what have you. You have notes in your phone that you start recording. You're like, okay, I'm gonna put this away and save it later. And when you really sit down to collect it, it's a piece of work that can benefit others. So, I'll pray to Allah later on turn into a book.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm a big believer in education. That's why I went back and got my bachelor's and master's of education while my children were in school. And I started being a teacher assistant, and then I came back, and now I'm a social studies teacher. So I'm a big believer in reaching for your goals, staying focused, keeping your faith in Allah, and not letting the attempts of shaitan detract you. And so with that said, my education first came from the masjid, working under my father who's been in the manor since I was a little girl. And so I was able to work in different categories in the masjid. I held the Mali conference. I was able to help facilitate that with Imam Suleiman Mukman for several years to take over all the workshops. So I had everybody's contact information, connecting with the imams, etc. And that was a good opportunity for networking. And so from there, I was able to establish a committee called VALS. And then also, I also have another committee called BLESS, which is Building Life, Elevating Sustainable Societies, and what that is a content provider where I do not just spoken word, but public speaking on issues in our community. And it started, as my niece Sophia said, with poetry. And that's where it started, working with Sister Clara Muhammad schools. And I started writing poetry so they can retain the pillars of Islam. And it progressed to different issues in the community for adults. So I'm well-rounded in the public forum as well as in the Islamic forum, and I'm strong because of Allah, and He has brought me through so much and blessed my life, and I want to share it with others. Assalamu alaikum.
Raise it up.
Well, as I said, my background is in the mortuary field. Well, I guess that's kind of where I ended up, but as most of us, we started in community service, in our community, and you find a need, and so I was in the mortuary a lot, for one reason or the other, either counseling families or caring for the deceased and instructing families. And I found that the need was huge for Muslims, and so I decided, what, I'm going to go to mortuary school, and so I did. I went to mortuary school and educated myself about mortuary sciences and how Islam impacted the mortuary science, and and how the modern day mortuary science has helped to develop the Islamic mortuary part of it to what it is today. And so I became licensed, and it just opened up a whole new arena for that particular science, and just took it to a different business level as a Muslim woman in this field, which I was like kind of groundbreaking, because I was the only, myself and another sister, we graduated together in the 90s, and we were the only Black women, Muslims, in this country to be licensed in mortuary science. So kind of the impact that had on the culture of mortuary science in this country. So we've just been trying to enhance the mortuary area where it affects Muslims and their families, whether Muslim or non-Muslim. And so that's where. And I joined NMBC because NMBC was doing this phenomenal job with so little resources, and to try to enhance business in this country for unknown entrepreneurs like myself, and so when I started, David, he came to New Jersey on several occasions, and he was just looking for support, and so I've been coming ever since. I don't know how long ago that was, but here I am.
Hi, so I like to say that I was born to be an entrepreneur because it's all through my family. And I have been hustling since I was a kid. When I was in the shops with my mom getting our hair done, I would sweep up and they would give me a couple dollars for sweeping, or when we were at parades and people wanted their t-shirts cut up into these cool styles, I would make $1 off of that. So along the way, what I learned that I love to do was to craft. And from both sides of my family, I just hear it in my ear that you can make money off of this. So that's what I did. I took my passion and just created a small business with it. And I just take time out of my day to promote what I do, which is personalizing these items of clothing or clothing, garments, bags, all these cool things, and making them exclusive so that these people who are buying from me feel like they have these one-of-a-kind items that make you feel just a little bit more special with what you're buying. So that it's been in me since I came out into this world, and I've just kind of been crafting it into my own thing now.
All right, so I have a little bit of a different path. I didn't grow up in a family that believed in entrepreneurship. Everything was you have to get a corporate job, you have to get those good benefits, right? So for most of my career, I'm an Army veteran, so did that. Of course, my mom was Marine, so kind of followed that path. After that, just did a lot of work in personal development, professional development for organizations. Also training, just really helping people to become better versions of themselves. That's completely what I believe in today. So fast forward in 2015, when I met my husband again, like for the first time, physically I should say, we were always around each other as children. I learned what he was doing. His company is 2Excel Group, and it helps people to excel. So at that time, I was a multi-unit manager for a financial services company. I ran over 11 locations in Southern Ohio. And I was introduced to him because of one of his events that he was hosting. What attracted me to kind of step out on faith was the fact that I can empower and really truly help people to become what they are striving to become with no boundaries. So with his organization, he was able to help, empower, give people resources, pay them out of their pocket, whereas in corporate America, I could not do that. So I stepped out on faith and then joined his organization with him prior to us connecting on a different level, and really helped him with his organizational structure. I'm all about getting your house in order, by the way. That's probably the military in me, but we have to have our businesses in order, our finances in order to really truly sustain what we're doing. So just adding that into his fold, along with being able to help to train and develop leaders, is exactly what I do today, and what I'll continue to do. So that's the kind of fast forward version of my experience and how I kind of started and kind of tapped into entrepreneurship through his vehicle.
Thank you. A couple of questions I'm gonna ask individuals, or I wanna ask, is there anybody in the audience that have a question? So we can move this right along. Somebody might have a question for these entrepreneur women and sisters. Anybody have a question? Okay, yes, brother.
Please, your service is at the Lake of Jersey. What city or what? Where you from?
In Jersey, you talking about Sister Khadijah?
Yeah.
That question's for you.
I serve the tri-state area, and we have international shipping service that we provide. So we serve basically residents of New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania. And then we connect the deceased with their family, whether it be in the United States or abroad.
Okay, very good question. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, we have another. Well, I would like to ask Sister Khadijah again. In your strategies in life, when you started your business, what wealth building strategy would you have for the global trade that we have going on? Is there any thoughts in your mind on wealth building for global trade? Because I heard you just say you have, you do cover their family members to their families abroad or around. So is there any wealth building strategies you might have?
Well, when I was looking for the materials that I use in my business, like fabric, like wood, oils, I was connected with a brother out there who sells oils. And so I started by trying to import some of those materials. But with the cost of importing them, the cost became so prohibitive that it wasn't anything, I wasn't encouraged by the families to import things. Although you may get purer materials like pure cotton or pure wood, pure oil, that people didn't find the value in it, because the cost. But on my end, the cost of those goods spiked, So, my interest was always to try to continue to provide those materials, but at a more reasonable in the fair market price. So, until now, I haven't found a reasonable market. So I just use materials that have already been imported in my business, and just have always tried to connect other people outside this country to business inside the country. But where my business is concerned, I haven't been able to make that kind of connection. But I know that it's there. But I haven't.
Okay, and let's see, the other person I would like to ask that question to would be wealth building. So we're gonna focus here a little bit on wealth building, because we know our community needs to know a little bit more about that. So anyone else that want to answer in their business, how would you actually show them steps to do wealth building in your particular business?
Because I'm doing all that type of business.
Yes, thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. I want to focus a little bit on sustainability, because we know resources change for whatever you're trying to do. And for example, if we're looking at building a school, we need to have education, we need to have educated professionals, but we also need business professionals. And I know we're getting ready to break ground on 8 acres of land at Masjid al-Shahid, and we are going to start with a set of apartments that will be not only income building, but it will give us an opportunity to hire and employ people in our community to circulate that money. And so with that said, anything that we're trying to do, we need to assess the need, whatever the need is, and then look at resources that we already have in our community. For example, teachers, businessmen, children, because each community is different. The dynamics change based off the culture. We have a lot of youth in our masjid, so we're definitely looking at, we already have a strong in school, but we're looking at having multi-purpose building, because we want to engage them before the world engages them. And so that's an investment in itself, and that is how we're going to build our generational wealth. Assessing our needs, working with the people and the income that we already have, and we know that many of us are working, and we have money to put aside and save, and we pay our zakats. But look for income building ways and strategies that we can increase in income and also still engage and employ our own, inshallah. That's all I think.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I would like to add to what the sister just said, because I have a principle that I teach on in terms of the sacrifice that you need to make, or how to control your debt, which is one of the principles of my 10-step program of how to get control of your life. And that was controlling your debt. And one of the ways you can do that is to create this formula. And the formula is called 10-10-25-55. And what that does is 10% of your income should go to charity. 10% you can kind of throw out the window. You should live within 55% of your income. And then 25% should go to investing. And then you have to find ways to invest that money. So you can find different ways. You can invest in yourself. Like the beginning of the year, I took Lorette Crown Home 90-day challenge. So you can get coaching. You can get coaching development. You can find ways to invest in yourself first of all. But you also can invest in opportunities. We have different ways through my connections that I have that you can invest, which is one is we're doing a group land project called Sow Your Future. We also have, that's where we're buying land and doing agriculture so you can become more healthy. And we're doing a group land investment. We started LLC about 2 years ago. That's an opportunity. But you have to have that extra money because you can't keep, wanting to do better if you don't start to make that sacrifice.
That's right. Yes, go ahead.
I was thinking about the question that you asked in terms of wealth building, and as I heard the sister's response, I was like, I have a response too. So in terms of what Sister Khadija was talking about, maybe not having that connection for that particular item, like sometimes we'll have an idea, and she's already, executed on it, but you'll have an idea, let's say I have a book, and I write the book, but I need an illustrator. Like, I'm not the illustrator. I want someone who already understands where I'm coming from to work on that project. So that's the reason why I had Freelance Feasibility Lab created. So it's an app for creative Muslim professionals to connect. So regardless if you know someone on a personal level, you can connect with them on an Islamic and business level to get what you need done, because Allah put it on your heart. You just need somebody as a puzzle piece to help you finish it. So it's the wealth of relationships, it's the wealth of community, and it just it helps us take things from our imagination into reality.
Thank you. Okay.
One thing I just wanted to mention, there's small things in our community, like, that, are on a small scale, like, Susu, Susu has been around forever, and I participate in the Susu, and that's a way of, communities to generate, as small or as little or as much, as you would like, and you have to do with a group of people that you trust and have the same like mind, to put in a certain amount of money on a continual basis, and then, each individual will get their particular hand on time. I mean, that's a simple way, it's not as simple as, I'm just saying it because there's a lot of factors that go into it, but that is one way, that people have done things, put their children to school, their cash, doing different things on a small scale, but to help them to get from where they are to wherever they need to be.
Right.
And I'm one of those that, I've heard that term before, but can you explain what a susu is? I think it's an African term. Yes.
Susu is a system of saving money. So, for instance, out of the 12 months of the year, if there are 5 people in a susu, then let's make it a little either. Say there are 6 people in a susu, right? Those out of 12 months, then each month you put a set amount of money in a pot. One person is designated to be the collector of that money, right? And you put $100 in, and each month, you would get a set amount of money.
Right.
And it really depends on how many people is in the group. You could get, say for instance, you would get $1,200, because there's, 6 people and there's 12 months a year, So it really depends on the length of time that is done and the numbers of people.
That's right.
But if I know of susus where people put $500 in per person, because they had a particular goal. Like everyone in the group wanted to make Hajj, within a year. So they were able to gather that money, and each person would get what you call a hand. And it would be that one amount multiplied by the numbers of people in that group or susu. Each month a person would get it. And so if you have 6 people, then you're going to get your hand twice in one period, which is a year, so 12 months in a year. So, those are, that's a simple way. And naturally it has to be amongst people that you trust and people who have the same like mind to put the money in, and in a safe possibility, and that the person who's in charge would make sure that individual got that's one way that I've experienced myself.
Yeah.
Very good, thank you so much. Thank you, and we have, Patrice would like to make a comment on how to wealth building.
Yes, wealth building. I just wanted to say, in our experience, just dealing with souls, right? Everything starts in mind. You know, that's the number one thing that we see that stops people from having a wealth mindset. Which if we as adults, if we have that mindset, how do we expect our children to, you know, kind of be reared in something different? We can't. So the biggest thing that I would always recommend is work on self. You know, get a coach. You know, really just truly try to figure out, hey, what is my purpose? What am I here to do? Take that passion, that thing that you really want to do, and collaborate. You know, get with people who are doing it, model them, follow them, get the information, such as our dignitaries that are here from overseas. I've lived overseas, so I've been able to collaborate with people that are, you know, really truly doing well. And the biggest thing is, let's pool together. Let's identify opportunities that we can take advantage of in order to really make some things happen, not just in the United States, Africa, Kuwait, wherever we may be. So the first thing is mindset. Get a coach, get someone that you trust to really be able to help to rear your ideas, and then to be able to implement it step by step. So, I mean, that's to me where it starts. We see it every day. It starts in that mind. Let's get it unlocked, do what we can, and then we can be released and freed. So that's
Very good. Thank you. So we're gonna sort of wrap up with some final thought from each one of you. And as we said earlier, we're here, what was the reason why somebody should come to this conference, the Global Summit? So I want each one of you to give a thought that you would tell a person why you think that they should go to a conference. And before I let you answer, NMBC, the number one goal is to educate and make you have some kind of duplication of some business that you're interested in. So as you are professionals in your business and your entrepreneurship, what would you say if you wanted them to come to see you next time? What goal would you give them to, or what strategy would you give them? Something similar to that to wrap up your business to what we do here, because we want to be a large organization where we have more of this, so we want you to help us connect with what you do. Thank
Well, I'll
you.
start really quick. It's going to be quick. I would say to anyone that is looking to just come to a conference such as NMBC, and again, Mama B, I thank you for doing this. But look at this room. Look at everyone that's in this room. So if you have an idea, I would say, you know what, just come out. Experience it. You know, no pressure. Just come out, take a look, listen, interact. Just understand what's going on in your backyard. And then take whatever nuggets you get, because you're gonna get a nugget, and apply that to your life in some way. So that's all I would say, is come out and experience it, get out of your head, get around people that can support and care about you and tell you how they've done something. So that's where I would start if I were to
I'll
do
pay for
something.
tomorrow. Thank you.
I think my biggest thing to touch on is just that quote of, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I think it's really prevalent in this room, because you can go around and speak to all of these people that are here, and you don't know what you're gonna run into. You don't know who you're gonna run into. I've ran into many Aggies in the room, and I've enjoyed speaking to all of them. I've been meeting, you know, people from all across the world, and it's just really, it's empowering, because you get to see people in all different walks of life and get to take those nuggets, like she was saying, with you, even if you don't expect to, even if you're just listening in on other people speaking and seeing them interact. So it's all a learning opportunity. That's what I see the most out of it with.
Thank you.
I've always gained the networking piece, like just said, because since, you know, the first time I came, I thought, well, what, you know, why here? I'm not gonna connect my business to someone in North Carolina. And that was like totally not, you know, that was totally opposite, you know. I met a lot of people that have come here from New Jersey, you know, migrated after retirement or whatever. And then, you know, I met people here who say, we don't have a funeral home, you know, in North Carolina. I was like, who knew, you know, who knew that I could do something inspirational to bring my skill, my trade, my expertise to North Carolina, just by coming one time, you know, many years ago, and always gaining so much from NMBC that I could give something back, you know. So
I would say seeing yourself in a new light as well as seeing others in a new light, because sometimes we may play a particular role in our family and in our community, and it's that same role. But when you come to NMBC, you can play whatever role Allah has put on your heart and just get in where you fit and try new things. Because no one's going to tell you what you can't do. They're going to say, well, how can I support you? How can I help you? Well, I know about trademarks. Well, I know about business copyright, this, that, and the third. And they'll just share the information. And so you have like a room full of information. If you're not shy to talk to somebody, you're going to get what you need.
I want to thank Sister Bassim for this opportunity to get up to come to this event and to assist on this event. But one of my takeaways and what I will tell people, the reason why to come here next year is because I learned a lot from every speaker, but I really resonated with some of the information that we received from the worldwide speakers, because it resonated. We just had a conversation last night on about unity in our community and the power that we have as our people united. You know, as one of the brothers said earlier, I think, you know, we just have to unite. It's been a formula that's already been given to us years back, you know, that we are as a people. If we come together, the enemy does not want to see that. And I heard that from one of the speakers today, and I totally agree with that. It's what we need to do as a community. We had that conversation last night, and I just think that's what's resonating right now. There's a lot of communities that they do not want to see coming together. They don't want to see us combining our dollars. They don't want us to see us rising up as a people and saying, let me tell you something. We are the makers, the owners, the cream of the planet Earth, and God of the universe, and we can do whatever we put our mind to if we just unite. And so that's what I would tell them they could do when they come to an event like this. They can meet people from all around the world, and they can hear truth, because you can't just listen to the narrative that's being painted. And if you talk to the people, then you'll get the truth.
Assalamu alaikum. I want to reiterate, thank you, Sister Basima, for the strength that you are modeling as a sister in this meeting. It's powerful. It speaks volumes, and I really mean that. And your family for your support. I wanted to highlight a surah. I had read this down, or wrote this down, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I left my notebook at home, but mashallah, I was reading the Quran this morning and I came across it. It's Surah Baqarah, ayats 127 through 129. And it's the dua that Abraham and Ishmael made as they were building the Kaaba. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Our Lord, accept this from us, for you are all hearing, all knowing. Allah, make us submissive to you. Make of our descendants a nation that will submit to you. Teach us our rights of worship. Turn to us with mercy. You are the forgiving one, the merciful. Our Lord, send forth to them a messenger of their own to teach what you have revealed to them, and to teach them scripture and wisdom. Purify them. You are the mighty, the wise. Surely Allah speaks the truth, and I want us to start with that foundation, because what I get here that I don't get at Charlotte Mecklenburg schools is morals. I don't get faith. I don't need a foundation of connecting for unity. And that's why I'm so passionate about being here. I text my children, I said, listen, my daughter, inshallah, will be here tonight. She's also a teacher. We're moving to Africa. So we're gonna have those conversations, but also Joseph, I wanna speak to my sister. Joseph, when he was in prison, what did he say? He asked, what is the state of the women? Because where there are no righteous women, there are no righteous men.
That's right.
So we have to know what our role is, and we have to model that. Because he would rather stay in prison than come out with those women with the snare. So let's get it together and continue to work and model excellence. Thank you.
They say the best is from God, so
Yes.
she just ended this panel. We truly appreciate each one of you all for speaking. And of course, the listeners, I think you got a lot right now, and they have more for you all, so just stop them when you see them. And I just want to add one thing, and I truly feel like that I'm sure. One of the things David K. Hassan would say, may peace and blessing be upon him, he would always say, they gotta come to NWC, they gotta be here. They don't know who's gonna be here. You don't know how many millionaires is in this room. And you are somewhere else, be here. And that's exactly what's happening. We have brothers here and sisters that have, and not that you have to be a millionaire, because some of us don't want to be in the business. But if you want to be a millionaire, or your neighbor, or your brother, or your sister, somebody in the family needs to make money, because we got masters we got to take care of. We got family we got to take care of. So it's not about what you want, it's what you're good at, and if you're good at it, do it. So be here, 2025.
All right.
But right now, we're gonna finish, don't go nowhere. So thank you, panel. We truly appreciate you.